Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Ku, Francis, Sound of Reason.
Sajid
Alaikum
Vada.
salam. Yes, my brother.
How are things, brother?
Alhamdulillah.
My brother from another mother.
That's right. Yes, mashallah. There is striking resemblance between all three of us, isn't
Yes.
Yes.
I
of
find,
course,
especially not so much the, but us, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
you too, I mean.
The hair.
The hair.
Especially
Start with
the hair.
Yes, yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So guys, it's been at least more than 2 years now since we last chatted, as we say. We keep meeting each other every year, alhamdulillah. Always a pleasure. What have you been up to since then?
Like you were saying, you know, just touring and finishing up this next CD. After our first debut CD that we launched, The Sound of Reason, self-titled The Sound of Reason. That was like 4 years ago almost, right? Maybe even a bit more. And because, you know, we were very inexperienced putting out that first record, it's taken us this long to eventually get close to putting out our next record. Inshallah, we're shooting for, let's say, about a month and a half from now to drop the actual record. Basically, that's what we've been up, you know, just trying to finish this record off, and a month and a half left, and then we'll be done, and inshallah khair.
Sound of Reason. What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Sound of Reason is basically we're trying to be the sound of reason in an industry where there's not a lot of reason to be heard. You know, there's right now our goal is to hit the youth. You know, our goal is to educate the youth, educate the masses, inshallah. And in the music industry, you know, there's a lot of artists out there that the message in their songs and their lyrics is, you know, it's trash. It's not there's no content in it. And so what we try to do is each song is sort of like a lesson, I guess you could call it, you know, stuff that we've learned that we're trying to pass on. And so hence the sound of reason. That's what we're trying to be.
How long have you guys known each other for?
Long time.
Long now.
12, 13, 14 years? Long time.
Long time, since early high school, so it's a long time now.
So you met at high school?
Yes. Later on, becoming really good friends, alhamdulillah, in about mid-high school. And only really started the music thing much later, in college. And then it was in university that we actually decided to take this seriously.
So you actually end up at the same university as well?
Yes. Actually, the same university, going into the same field. We were both actually heading towards education, you know, becoming a teacher, this and that. And that was the reason for the jump into music, is because we thought instead of teaching one classroom at a time, we should, you know, try to teach the world at large through music.
London, come on, let's hear you! Yeah, get those lights up, come on! Come on! Gotta get your lights up, come on! Yeah, yo, get the lights up! Yeah, yo! You gotta light the glow. You light the glow. You light the glow. Everybody get your lights up. Light the glow. You light the glow. You light the glow. Yeah, yeah. Everybody get your lights. Light the glow. Come on. Light the glow. Come on. Light the glow. Yeah, yo, yeah. Everybody get your lights up. Light the glow. Light the glow, light the glow, yeah, yeah, keep on, everybody get your lights up, yeah, let it keep on, yeah, yo, yeah, yo, come on, everybody get your lights up.
Why did you want to go into music?
Why did we want to go into music?
Yeah.
The whole idea, when we started it, it was sort of like a hobby, right? So Ku actually started with a production set, and like, you know, he made a couple of beats. And then I came in one day and just, yeah, exactly, started jamming out. Boom, 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 nah. Just started vibing out. You just started freestyling, right? And, you know, from there we were like, shoot, we got something going here, you know? Started writing songs, you know, like Friends Answering Machines, just having fun.
So what was your style then? What sort of music did you have in common?
It was more like hip hop R&B type thing. And then, you know, we, like Ku said, you know, we wanted to start off, you know, we were like, okay, we both want to teach. Let's use this as, you know, a medium to get our message out there, you know, teach the masses. And so we started writing songs. You know, the first album came out with the goal in mind to, you know, teach the masses. And alhamdulillah, you know, we've had, you know, relative success.
Alhamdulillah, I mean, you know, I know that MTV, you're the Artist of the Month.
Yeah.
You've performed internationally, I mean, many countries, lots of different artists as well.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it would get to that stage where from Canada, from your hometown, meeting high school, becoming MTV Artist of the Month? I mean, something you don't imagine, right? But was that an aspiration? Did you want to get into the mainstream?
Yeah.
Or was it, for you guys, was it always just, you know what, if it works out or not, doesn't matter, it's all about the music?
No, never.
And the message?
Just the opposite. I mean, the message, yes, it was always about the message, but, you know, our message was for the mainstream. Another motivation, again, that really jump-started our efforts was the fact that we found ourselves unable to listen to the music that we liked. You know, I was a big fan of R&B and hip-hop and things like that, but it was getting to a point where the content was just so bad, so vulgar, so, you know, just destructive, that I couldn't listen to it anymore. You know, it just, there was not, like, I can't listen to music with a bad message or with a, you know, just some nonsensical message. And so that was another motivation where we said, wouldn't it be amazing if one of these artists that, you know, are doing so well in the mainstream actually took it upon themselves to actually put out you know, a proper message. And so that's what we hoped. We said, you know what, instead of just hoping and waiting for someone to come along and, you know, have a change of heart, which is most probably not going to happen, maybe we could actually, you know, do something, you know, in that line to try to change things. So we were always shooting for mainstream. And actually, you know, an even bigger aspiration than just shooting for mainstream was to shoot to mainstream and to have such success within it that we actually sway the current of what, you know, where music is globally right now in the mainstream towards maybe a shift back to conscious music, right? I mean, we're at a point now where the overwhelming majority of music is completely nonsensical, just club hits or I don't even know what, you know.
It's quite shallow, isn't it, in terms of content? You know,
of course.
I mean, maybe catchy rhythms, nice melodies,
right.
But there's no real substance to what.
But see, that's it.
The message.
There was a time that music was about the message, right? And you know, if anyone follows music or is a fan of music, they know that these things come in waves and in shifts and trends, right? And so that was the ultimate aspiration, was to have such success in the mainstream that we can push the trend back to conscious music within the mainstream.
It's funny you say did you believe, what were your aspirations? I remember specifically being in the studio, we were mixing the album, the first album, and we were being really particular with one of the songs, right? And the producer's like, what, you expect to sell 1 million copies of this album? Like, the guy was there, right? And I remember it was actually cool, but both of us had the exact same sentiment. He's like, yeah, what are you talking about, right? Like, we had that goal in mind, we had those aspirations, we believed in ourselves from the get-go. Right, so, you know, we're knocking on people's doors, telling them, yeah, we're two guys, you know, from Montreal, Canada. We got these, you know, we got these songs, and we're going to change the world. And actually, it's funny enough that the first song on our actual first album is called "Help Me Change the World." But, you know, our aspirations from the get-go, from the beginning, were let's change the world. It's not like let's make some music and sell a couple of CDs to our friends. It's like no. Let's go global with this movement, inshallah, right? And we were the first ones to believe in ourselves. So when you're knocking on someone's door, when you're handing somebody a CD, right, and when you're telling them about yourselves, how are you going to expect them to accept you as an artist? You know, how are you going to expect them to think you're going to change the world when you don't even believe it yourselves, right? And so that was the first thing. We're like, no. When we decided that we're going to do this project, this Sound of Reason project, we're like, no, we're all in. You know, we're going to make this CD. We're going to make it the best that we can, and see what we can do. And that's. And it's funny enough that going on to the next album, right, we're taking it even another step higher, many steps higher, right? We're bringing in major producers, you know, major mixing on the album. We spent 2 years on this next album. It's called Hope and Fear, right? And it's coming out soon, inshallah.
It's going to be worth it.
Yeah, right?
2 years
but,
of the making.
But that's it. That's the thing, right?
That's good. You're spending time,
spending
you're
a lot,
thinking about
and
it,
it's all independent.
Energy
all independent. You know, we've had the option of signing with record labels, but we've chosen to remain independent, to keep our own content, to keep control of our, like, you know,
but
control of our music.
Do you feel that if you were to sign on with one of these big labels, that you're going to have to...
That's definitely, that's a criteria.
You're going to lose your artistic license, right?
That is actually, in a lot of these contracts that were drawn up for us, you know, by different record labels, that was part of the agreement, that they have final say on creative control. But if our only reason for existing is to push out the content that we choose, and we give up that right, then it's like we might as well not even exist. So.
More than that, I'll be your strength and your balance. I'll be your legs when you stand, and more than that, anything that you ask, and more than that, I'll be your cover. I'll be your cover, come on.
Through the rain and the snow, the storms that other people know, and I will be your shelter, I will be your cover. When you're feeling cold, come here to me, I'll hold you close, and I will be your clothes, I will be your cover. I will be your cover. I will cover you.
When you were growing up, what were the hardest things that you had to face?
Whoa. Hardest things? High school, I guess. You know, high school was a big transition phase, I think, for both of us, you know. I know Ku came to Islam in high school, and for me, I met Ku in high school at a time where, you know, it's like that, you know, you're trying to fit in, right? You're trying to find that, you know, your group of friends, you're trying to fit in the in crowd. And, you know, we started hanging out together, and it was like, it sounds sort of corny, but I guess we took solace away from all the bad stuff that was happening in high school with each other. We'd sort of sit back and, you know, if there were people going to a party or something like that, you know, they're going to do some bad stuff, we'd sort of hang out together and we'd do our own thing, you know? And that was nice, at least for me. That's when I really started seeing, I guess, the beauty in Islam, right? Just that's the first, you know, my first memories of Islam, right? So, you know, people would go out and be drinking and stuff like that, and you know, we just, you know, chilling, you know, just hang out and, you know, watch a movie or, you know, hang out with, you know, his brothers or something like that. And that's I think the hardest part was high school, but then again, it was, you know, it was a really good part. It was a transitional phase.
And for you?
I guess I'd say the same thing. You know, high school was very difficult. For most youth, you know, you speak to them, that's a very critical moment in, you know, determining who they're going to be for the rest of their lives. And, you know, it's hardcore, you know, when you're in high school, that's everything to you. And, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world, you know, and it's especially trying to find yourself. And so, alhamdulillah, you know, that's when I guess I started practicing Islam.
At what point had you embraced Islam? What was a process almost, or the journey that you took before you embraced it?
Well, I was brought up by my mother to be a Christian. You know, doing the typical Christian thing, going to church every Sunday and doing the, you know, I was in, I guess, Cubs or whatever, the youth
Scouts
or whatever, right? And, you know, that's all I knew. And eventually you come to an age where you start questioning what you're being taught. And I guess through different influences, these questions became more and more, you know, demanding. And so I would relate them back to, I guess, the church. And they really just kind of discouraged me from even asking. And so it was that thing that really turned me off initially from that whole thing, because I couldn't come to make sense of it. And when I sought out the questions, they would just, you know.
So what were the questions that you were asking at the time?
You know, just the more simple things that you know, in terms of just, let's say, the Trinity, right? How do you know, who's in charge? You know, what is their relationship to each other? What's the hierarchy? What was, you know, different things like that. And, you know, I found, at least then, and I still do now, that although maybe you can fill your heart in terms of faith with I guess, Christianity, you can never satisfy your logical mind, your critical mind. And alhamdulillah, I found that in Islam, you can satisfy both. It is, you know, it is a faith for those who are, you know, have a strong heart, and again, for those who have a very critical mind. And that's, alhamdulillah, you know, the best choice of my life.
Well, were there people around you as well that you would go back, you refer to? Did they, you know, help make sense of things when it came to Islam?
Yeah, definitely.
Who are the sort of the main inspirations of that?
Funny thing, it was, again, in high school, right? There was this, high school is a rat race to popularity. And there was this one brother that I met there early on, and he was unlike any of the other kids in high school. He didn't care about, you know, trying to be popular, trying to, you know, have some kind of, you know, trying to be cool in the eyes of everyone else. And that was really what drew me to him. It wasn't even so much like, hi, have you heard of Islam? And, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It was just his character. And that was the thing that really, really drew me to Islam.
How was the journey for you?
Alhamdulillah. I mean, it was difficult in the sense where, you know, coming from a Christian background, you know, both my parents were Christian. They obviously had questions when I started to, you know, look into Islam. But I always say I think people are more afraid of what they don't understand, right? So my job was more to educate my family and educate the people around me while I was educating myself. But, you know, I had a really good group of friends around me, so it wasn't really, I don't say it was that hard, alhamdulillah. You know, I mean, obviously there are trials and tests in everything in life, but for me, you know, like I said, I had a good supporting cast, so it was easy to fall back on the friends that I already had.
Hey yo, and most times I'm the most strong. I'm the rock, the spot you